Alright, so I decided to do a little video tour here of my man cave slash my vintage game room. I'm just kind of showing you around here. It's, man, it's nothing too spectacular to look at. Good, Lord, I can't even talk today. I mean, I apologize for the mess. I'm still kind of moving stuff around and reorganizing things the way I want them. But figured I'd give you guys a little tour here. Over here, just sitting here on the futon here, got a couple of bins, some old controllers, stuff like that. But in there, oh look, I have, yes, the Power Glove. It's so bad. And in here, and sitting in this bin here is the Street Fighter II 15th Anniversary Arcade Fight Stick for the PS2 and the Xbox. It's a great controller. As if you can track one of these down, highly recommend. They are fantastic controllers. Up here, on this top shelf here, this is actually a Mario DS and 3DS cradle, and Mario will hold onto your DS or your 3DS for you. I found this at Toys R Us a couple of years ago, and right now he's actually holding onto my 3DS, and then behind him is actually a DS and 3DS travel case, and I actually have some of my games in there right now. And also my Rob the Robot, which I bought off of eBay about 12 years ago. I've always wanted one of these, and so I pounced at the opportunity to get one. I overpaid for him a little bit, but that's okay. Unfortunately, part of his mechanisms were broken, so I just have him up there on the shelf, as kind of a, collector's piece right now. And here is my Virtual Boy. It is fully functional. It still works. And so, like I said, again, I got a great deal on that. Wanted to hold on to that. And sitting right there is my DSi XL. And right here on the top shelf here this is my paltry Sega Master System collection. And again, I never really was a big Sega guy. I was always more of a Nintendo guy personally. So I don't have a very big Master System collection. I don't really have a big Genesis or a Dreamcast collection either, and I don't own a Saturn. But, got, some decent games there. A couple of complete in-box 2600 and 7800 games, including a factory-sealed copy of Hat-Trick. It is factory-sealed, and I am a little reluctant to open it. And then right here is my entire 2600 collection. It's not super big and everything, but I do have some, pretty decent titles in there. Space Invaders. If you are a 2600 owner, I highly recommend buying Pac-Man 4K. You can buy that from Atari Age. They're a fantastic website and everything, and Pac-Man 4K is actually a more arcade perfect. It's not exact, but it's as good as you're probably going to get, given the limited technology of the Atari 2600. It's fantastically done. I really recommend buying that if you get a chance. And then down here on the shelf, except with the top right corner, this is my entire NES collection. Yeah, I have a lot of NES games. Again, big fan of the NES, always have been. It is easily my favorite console of all time, and there were a ton of great games released for it. Granted, I do not have a whole collection. I probably never will have a whole collection. You're talking 700-800 games, and I don't have that kind of space. I don't have that kind of money, especially with the insane prices that some games are going for nowadays. Like I said, I look for deals wherever I can, but unless I can get a deal, forget it. And then up here in the top right corner is my entire Atari 7800 library. Again, I've only had an Atari 7800 for about a month and everything, so I'm kind of slowly building that library, but then again, there really weren't that many games out for it. So I'm still kind of picking and choosing as to what is and is not worth buying. Down here, I've got a couple of PlayStation imports. These are PS1 imports. I say, unless you read kanji, you're not gonna know what these games are. But it is Strider 2, Street Fighter Zero 3, and Rockman Battle and Chase. Of those three, only Rockman Battle and Chase did not make its way to the U.S., at least not for the PlayStation. Sony of America, for whatever reason, killed its release. It got a European release, Japanese release, never got released in the U.S. Fantastic game, though, especially if you like Mario Kart, because it is a Mega Man Kart racing game. You can play it nowadays. It was on the Mega Man X collection for the PS2. So if you get a chance, I do recommend playing it. Fantastic game. And then right here is my entire 3DS collection. And again, it's not too big, but you know, got some pretty good games in there. And then all the cases here going vertically up here on the shelf are all of my GameCube games. Yeah, I've got a lot of the important ones. F-Zero, Super Smash Brothers, Soul Calibur 2. Had to have that one. Like every Legend of Zelda that was released for the GameCube, Super Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime 2. Fantastic games. Fantastic system. Very underrated system in my opinion. And then going vertically here, yes. Horizontal? Yeah, horizontal, I'm sorry. Going horizontally here is my PS2 collection. And at least the first half of the alphabet. And then down here on the bottom shelf is the second half of the alphabet. And then right above those up here is my collection of Xbox games. I don't have that many. Mostly wanted to get the Xbox for a couple of games, namely Halo 2, Soul Calibur 2, because I wanted to play as Spawn, and SVC Chaos, which was SNK's version of the SNK and Capcom crossovers. It was supposed to have been released for the PS2 as well. Sony of America killed the release on that one shortly before launch, and I was furious about that. So this was one of the ones that was one of those games I had to get a Xbox for in order to play. And then over here, like this little crate here has like my Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, my little Game Boy Advance e-reader, and then the boxes beneath that are the ColecoVision and the Intellivision flashback consoles. Great little emulation consoles, whatever, especially if you're an old school gamer like myself. They're really worth the money. Each one of them has like 60 games built into it and everything, so you know there's lots of good games to choose from. I highly recommend picking one of those up. And then here we have my setup here. I have a little 27-inch LCD TV and a 19-inch CRT TV. The CRT is for if especially playing games that use like the NES Zapper or the Sega Light Phaser, because it will not work on flat screen TVs. So you really need a CRT if you want to be able to play like Duck Hunt or Wild Gunman or Hogan's Alley, something like that. So it's worth it to keep one of those around. And yeah, my connections and all my wires are all over the place. It's a mess. Again, I'm in the process of reorganizing everything, but most of my consoles are hooked up either by RF to the CRT or by RCA cables to the LCD, and I'm literally daisy chaining switch boxes in order to hook them all up. I've actually got a third switch box downstairs. I got a daisy chain in here in order to be able to hook a couple more things up. It's a little ugly, and again the wires are all over the frickin' place. And like I said, again, this is a work in progress. Down here on this bottom shelf, I don't know how well you're going to see it here. The lighting in here is not the best. But there's my GameCube with the Game Boy player. My Xbox is on top of that, and then on the bottom shelf, you can't really see it here. But especially with the black cabinet and everything. But it's both my slim and my fat PS2 down here at the bottom. Again, a little hard to see and everything. The fat one's not hooked up because it doesn't read DVDs all that well anymore. So I just run everything off the slim now. But like I said, I never bring myself to part with the fat one, considering it was like the first PS2 I bought. I bought it like a couple months after it launched and everything when they were still hard to find. So it is a first generation fat PS2. Down here is, as you can see, here's my PlayStation, my Super NES, and my Dreamcast, and here's my Atari 7800. Now both the PlayStation and the SNES, they are modded. The SNES, I just broke off the little tabs molded inside the plastic so I could play Super Famicom games, and my PlayStation has a Stealth Mod 4 chip in it. Allows me to import and allows me to play burned games as well. Now I don't burn games for the PlayStation because that would be piracy, and piracy is wrong. So I don't have burn games, but what I did burn is a NES emulator for my PlayStation. Yes, it is a working NES emulator, and it actually works very, very well. And of course, down here is my entire Genesis collection. You can see I don't have boxes for all these. I didn't get into the Genesis, until actually owning one until probably I was in like my early 20s before I finally bought one. And so every one of these I got my hands on used. Some of them complete in box, some of them were literally just the games. I don't understand that. It's the same. I always question the same thing when I go to GameStop and I see like DS games and 3DS games and everything that are just a game only without a case. Why would you not hold on to the cases for those? It makes no sense to me. But, I guess it is what it is. Over here, I have set up, here is my Genesis. Here's my Genesis. This one's a Genesis 2. The Genesis 1 actually is sitting right here. It's having some sound issues and everything, so I had to retire it, so to speak. There's my NES. There's my N64. Then over here is my Atari 2600 Junior. I had a 4-switch Woody many years ago growing up, and first player controller port went bad, so my dad wound up throwing it away, and we replaced it with a 2600 Junior. So that's what I still have now. And here's the AC adapter set for the Virtual Boy. It's basically just a little pack that connects to the battery pack, and basically just uses a Super NES AC adapter and everything to power the Virtual Boy without having to use 6 AA batteries. Excuse me. And then down here I have all of my DS games. I have a decent little collection, some decent games in there. Down here, the stack here is like every Game Boy and Game Boy Color game I have, and the few Virtual Boy games I have. And then behind that is some of my Game Boy Advance games. Then you can also see a first pressing of Street Fighter Alpha for the PlayStation, and complete those big boxes and everything. The startup disc here for the Game Boy Player for the GameCube. I don't know why, but these are somehow hard to come by for whatever reason. And this was I actually made my own little artwork for this one here. I just printed something off from the internet here. This is the Metroid Prime 2 bonus disc / demo disc that Nintendo was giving away before they started packaging them with copies of Metroid Prime. So I mean, it's kind of a cool little piece of the collection. Here's my PlayStation memory cards, more Game Boy Advance games. Again, all my Game Boy Advance games are complete in box. Then down here is my entire collection of N64 games. Again, missing a couple of the classics like GoldenEye, Paper Mario, just to name a couple. I would like to track them down, eventually. And then again, apologize for the mess. And then in this little shelving here are, controllers for like everything. And then I forgot to show this off earlier. In here are my SNES games, including some Super Famicom games like Super Famicom version of Street Fighter 2, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Got more from down here. Super Fighter Pro Wrestling 3 for the Super Famicom. Down here, a complete in-box copy of Final Fight. Complete in-box copy of Dragon Ball Z for the Super Famicom. And a Genesis Power Base Converter. Allows you to play Master System games on the Sega Genesis. It's a fantastic little device, a little hard to come by, but these are pretty cool nonetheless. And of course, got a few extra controllers and everything. And so, that's my setup. You know, again, it's a little bit of a mess. And then right there, sitting on here on the little beanbag chair here, is my original power pad from back in the day. Still works. And so, it's nothing much, it's nothing elaborate. But this is my complete setup. And, you know, and of course, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but here also is my Sega Master System as well, sitting on top of the VCR. And got my little Roku player here, if I especially want to sit here and just like stream Netflix or something. Now my current stuff is all sitting downstairs in the living room, because, you know, this is usually where we entertain company and everything, and people want to play like 360 or Wii U or PS3, and so all that stuff is still sitting downstairs. But that, you know, that's, you know, but this is all the vintage stuff up here, and of course here are all my PlayStation games, including some imports like the Dragon Ball Z games, which eventually did make their way to the US eventually. Import copy of Mega Man 2 for the PlayStation. My ever so paltry Dreamcast collection. Again, don't have that many Dreamcast games, but that's what I have here. And then kind of here on the spindle here, you see are like the double disc PlayStation cases, because the spindle holds, you know, the double discs as well and everything, but there's only a limited number of spots. So anyway, enough rambling from me. That is my collection. Yeah, I guess let me know what you think, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Later.